This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
This half hour being brought to you by our good friends at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury, Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, best in new inventory, great pre-owned inventory with the Sunbury Motors guarantee. Terrific service department, whether it happens to be inspections, quick lane, routine, difficult, they handle it all at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury, Sunbury Motors Kia. Routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. It's always a great day when I get to talk to Jody Mack. Jody, how are you?
Very good, Steve. How's your summer going?
So far, great. Enjoying it very much. Okay, I'll get to the Eagles in a moment, but the Phillies have come out of the break. They've done some good things. Trade deadline is coming up. What would your recommendation be for Dave Dombrowski?
Well, the signing of Dave Robertson this week, who I'm a fan of, liked him his first time through. Unfortunately, he almost never pitched due to injury. 2-year contract, pitched a handful of games for the Phillies. Came back, pitched well for him again in 22 when they went to the World Series. His second stop through, and they're hoping third time's a charm. Nobody knows. He hadn't pitched all year, so we'll get a look at him. But to get him, who's a legit closer type in MLB baseball, even at the ripe age of 40, and not have to give anything up other than money. No prospects. They paid him a lot. $6 million for 2.5 months is a whole hell of a lot, but I think it's a smart move if you're trying to preserve your prospects to make a different deal. My guess is they're still out there looking for a right-handed bat, probably more outfield bat, more right-handed than left-handed. So I like what Dombrowski did in that he believes he improved in an area of need and weakness by getting a pitcher without having to give up anything other than cash to get him.
Right. So, I mean, almost everybody's looking for bullpen help. I mean, almost everybody is. That's why I look at on the western side between Santana and Bednar with the Pirates. I mean, the odds are long that they're still members of the Pirates 2 weeks from now. So, I mean, is that something the Phillies might look at as a possibility, or maybe somebody more in the middle?
That's a good question. If they get a Bednar, they would make a choice as their closer. If Clase of Cleveland somehow shakes free, he would also assume that role. I don't think there's any way Miller of Oakland is going to be moved. Everybody's been in for 2 years, and the A's haven't moved on. They're going to do so now. So, yeah, I think if they get another bullpen piece, they'd make do with where they had to put him, what his strength was, middle, lead-in, and/or closer. But as of right now, I think, at least my estimation is, they need an outfielder worse. They need a right-handed bat in the outfield. I know Max Kepler had a home run last night, but he's been a major disappointment this year. If they can get a right-handed bat that plays either left field or center field, I think that would be the number one priority that Dombrowski would have.
The Sixers continue to be an interesting story in the offseason. How do you look at that franchise?
Interesting in that they still got a piece sitting out there. Quentin Grimes, who they traded for in season last year, came over, played really well. The team stunk. They just kept losing games, but it wasn't because of Quentin Grimes. He played pretty darn well for them, and he's a restricted free agent. Nobody signed this guy, and nobody has money left in the league to give him, like, top-flight money. The Sixers can because they can go over the cap to re-sign their own guy. So it looks to me like if he wants to make the most money he can make, he needs to come back to the Sixers. And then if they do, they'll have a plethora of good, solid guards. No big guards. They're all a little undersized, which bothers me a little bit. But between last year's first-round pick, this year's first-round pick, Maxey and Grimes, that's a nice little foursome to be able to rotate in your backcourt. So it all comes down to Embiid. If Embiid's healthy, then they're a playoff contender. If they're not, it'll be the same slop they put out this past year. But I'll at least have a little optimism because I think they've surely upgraded their guards.
All right, now let's get to the part everybody's excited about, the Eagles. So going into training camp, and training camps are so much different than when you and I are younger. I mean, no question. But in this training camp, give me a couple of guys that you're interested to see if they are better and can help the team more than they did last year.
Key is going to be on the edge. That's where the Eagles took the biggest hit this offseason, losing one via free agent, losing one via retirement, and losing one via trade. Well, I don't even know if you can say parting ways with Huff was losing. They traded him because it was a bad signing. In fact, the only thing Howie Roseman did wrong all last year. So they really do need to hope that the young guys, the Nolan Smiths and the Jalen Hunts of the world, step right in and can be legit rotational edge guys in the National Football League. That's the one position that I have some trepidation on going into the season. Yeah, they traded CJ, and they've got a couple of maybes at linebacker. The kid Cooper they took in the second round, finally got him signed. To me, is probably the leader in the clubhouse to start at safety, but Sidney Brown's going to get a chance. Tristan McCollum's going to get a chance. So they need to have a couple of guys step up who were marginal contributors and or rookies this year for the defense to be able to be close to as good as last year. And I know Fangio was phenomenal. I don't know that he's a miracle worker. With as much as they lost, it'd be really, I think, taxing to make him believe that he's going to have the number one defense in football. But they've got enough talented players. They should be one of the number one defenses in football, if not the number one overall.
How do you feel about pass rush and where they can generate that from?
Yeah, that's coming off the edge. That does scare me a little bit. But again, if you like Fangio, and I do,
yes,
he'll figure a way to scheme it a little bit. He's not afraid. He's not a power blitz guy, but he's not afraid to bring someone off the edge every once in a while. I think Zach Vaughn will be given a little bit more leeway this year to maybe get upfield and contribute a sack or two. They won't be as good off the edge and getting to the quarterback as they were last year, but I do think they'll be good enough.
Yeah, it's interesting. When Jason Kelce decided to retire, they made the move. Jurgens goes over to center from guard, which he'd been being groomed to be the next center anyway. But they do have to make an adjustment up front this year. How do they fill that spot up front?
Tyler Steen and someone, I think it was someone on the defensive side who was impressed with the way that he's played so far in practice. That's all it is practice.
Right.
But when they drafted him 2 years ago, they were planning on giving him a shot to grab a starting position his rookie year. It didn't happen, but that was okay. It was a kind of a shot. Last year, he was supposed to be their starting right guard, but he got hurt, and Mekhi Becton went in and played great and never looked back. This year, he's once again competing for the job, but he's got a big leg up, and I think it's about time Tyler Steen live up to his second-round draft status.
Yeah, no question about that. So, Gainwell goes. Look, Barkley's not going to take every single snap back there. How do you look at the guy that can give them a few moments here and there, not only running the ball but catching the ball?
That's been one of the more fun, debatable things about the Eagles this offseason, at least for me. How much should Saquon Barkley be used? Had over 500 touches last year. You can't use him as much this year. They've got to cut back. We'll see. I don't know that they're going to cut him back. The guy was so good, and he didn't even fit getting hurt last year. I think he's still going to be one of the most used backs in the National Football League. I like the Will Shipley draft 2 years ago when they took him in the 4th round.
Yes.
Because Barkley was as good as he was, and because they had Gainwell last year, I think he got underused. This year, he'll be certainly used more coming out of the backfield. And A.J. Dillon, we'll see. He was very good in Green Bay before he got hurt and has always been hurt. But if he can stay healthy, he'll be a good 3rd down if you only need a yard or two. We know they've got the best rushing quarterback for short yardage in the National Football League. There's a guy I'd like to take a little bit more of the pressure off. I'd rather give Jalen, the quarterback, a little bit more of a break on the push-push. I know. Everybody wants to see the push run. Everybody wants them to stick it down the throats of the National Football League because they tried to push it out. If Jalen doesn't have to do as much as he's done previously and A.J. Dillon can do a little bit more from between the tackles, I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, no, well, exactly. I mean, look, I'll give Hurts credit. The tush-push is one thing. But when he's in the open field, I think he does a great job of recognizing, okay, I need to slide, or he does a great job of finding the sideline. I think he's so smart as to how he avoids contact that he potentially sees. You can't, something from behind you can't pick up on. But I think he's brilliant at that. I mean, he has a real sense, okay, we're done. All right? And I've always liked that about him.
He's gotten much better at that. He wasn't great at that his first year as a full-time starter. No. I thought he put himself at risk a lot, which wasn't good. But you're right, he's gotten a lot better. And I'm even okay, because the offense should be as good as it is, when he just takes a sack, too, which was another thing early in his starting career. He never did. He'd sprint, he'd move, he'd try and force the ball into a tough spot. He was a little bit of a risk taker. This past year, if he had nowhere to go, he would just sit down and say, all right, well, I'll get you next down, which is oftentimes the smarter thing to do. You live to throw another day. So, yeah, I think Jalen has become not only an elite quarterback, but a very smart quarterback like you do as well.
And you know what? And I think you're also smart. You've got great weapons on the outside, the best in the business. But I also like how he uses his tight end. And, you know, that's going to be at least, I think, another luxury for him again this year.
That was my biggest bugaboo during the entire offseason. The fact that they kind of let Goddard sit out there. He had a year to go on his deal, but there was rumors about him being cut to save money under the salary cap. They eventually negotiated a reduction in his pay, which I don't think he really deserved. And the Eagles don't usually do that. They're giving Saquon Barkley an extension that he still had 2 years left to go in his contract. Yeah. So they made an evaluation of what his worth would be on the open market, and Dallas wanted to stay, so he ended up taking the financial haircut. I hope he has a big year. I've been a Dallas Goddard fan since the Eagles drafted him. I do think he's a key contributor on their offense. I know he misses a handful of games every single year, but their running game is just better when he's in the lineup. I'm hoping Dallas has a really good year and gets a little bit of a compensational break next year and gets a fatter contract from the Eagles or whoever else he decides to go.
Right, no, exactly right. I hope so as well. When you look at the other teams in the division, the one team to look at is going to be Washington, Dallas to a point. McLaurin right now is not in camp. You know they'll sign him. Parsons is in camp. I don't know what Jerry Jones is thinking, but that's okay. What's your thought on those two teams right now?
Here's my knock on the Commanders. Jaden Daniels made several lists this year during the offseason where he was rated above Jalen Hurts. Hello? One guy's won a Super Bowl, been there twice. The other guy went mano-a-mano against him in the championship game, and his team got washed. I know, he had a great year, phenomenal year as a rookie. So did C.J. Stroud the year before, and he came back to the pack a little bit. I don't think Jaden Daniels is taking another step up. That would be really hard to ask him to do, but I don't think he's going to. But to be rated as the 5th or 6th best quarterback in the league off 1 year, yeah, that's a little bit of an overstatement in my eyes, which means I think Jaden Daniels faced a little pressure this year. more so than Jalen Hurts is here in Philadelphia.
Well, okay. This is what I always find bizarre. Okay, you and I both know what the meaning of a track record is. Mm-hmm. There's a big difference between a track record, long-term ups and downs, and 1 year. Yep. That's ridiculous.
I think the Eagles should be heavy favorite again in the East. Jerry Jones has got the Micah Parsons problem, which he's got to figure out. Don't know if he can, don't know if he will. And I'll tell you, it's not impossible in my eyes that Micah Parsons gets traded. Yeah. That is still a possibility. I know Eagle fans would like to see him come here in Philadelphia because of his Penn State ties. I don't know if I would think it's highly unlikely that Jerry would trade him to the Eagles. They'd have to overpay what everybody else would be offering. And, oh, by the way, almost every team in the NFL would be interested in acquiring Micah Parsons. I would not be surprised. I know Jerry got Dak done, but he overpaid. I know he got C.D. Lamb done, but he had to overpay. He might finally draw the line and say, I'm not overpaying, and they might end up moving Parsons rather than getting it done.
Because Myles Garrett set the new bar at $40 million. T.J. Watt then reset the bar at $41. Mm-hmm. Now it's Parsons. Now, in Garrett and in Watt's case, you're talking about third contracts. Parsons is a second contract. And for a guy that's, as you properly mentioned and perfectly phrased, he overpaid for Prescott. He overpaid for C.D. Lamb. He's overpaid for a bunch of guys over the year. Now, out of nowhere, he's got a spine?
Yeah, I do think that that's a possibility. I know most people don't. Jerry will overpay again. He's been a little bit more outspoken about this, and I think that at this stage of his career as the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, I think Jerry likes the attention. I think Jerry likes being what people are debating on ESPN. And the best way to do that would be to trade Micah Parsons rather than overpay again.
Very, very interesting. All right. I know we're not quite to the Saratoga run yet, but I do have to ask you, is there anything you're interested with the Travers and so forth coming up and with the potential field of that?
Nice, going to be a nice showdown. I think your two top 3-year-olds will be going mano-a-mano against Sovereignty, and they already shipped journalism over to win the Haskell list last week, so you know he's going to Saratoga to just get ready for the Travers. That should be a phenomenal race, and, whoever wins it will be the top candidate for horse of the year. Older 3-year-old, any horse, and may very well be your Breeders' Cup Classic favorite. No, we got months to do before we get there. But, yes, us horse racing fans are always looking months ahead. Speaking of which, are you ready for this one, Steve?
Okay, let me brace. Okay, go ahead.
Real good horse saw at Parks on Monday. 2-year-old. No, we're still 37 weeks from the Kentucky Derby. Yeah. Remember this name, Flying Hawaiian. I don't know if he's named after Shane Victorino or not, but Butch Reed trains 1 by 8 at Parks on Monday. Put him in your Kentucky Derby future watch.
And who was the trainer again?
Butch Reed, one of the best at Parks.
Butch Reed is really good. Really good. One of those, great feel for the animal, great feel for the sport guys. Yeah,
he is. So remember, Flying Hawaiian.
That's easy. Hold on. I don't even have to write that one down. That's great. I love it. Jody, you're the best, pal. Appreciate you.
Always love coming on with you, Steve. Anytime, brother.
You bet. The great one, Jody MacDonald. Oh, my goodness. You notice we went 4 different sports, different topics. He handles them all.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The Beverage Supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you and thank you for your years of patronage.
Sunbury Motors Ford is turning up the heat with the hottest deals of the summer at the North 4th Street Auto Plaza in Sunbury. Get behind the wheel of a brand new 2025 Ford Escape, over $6,800 off on select models. That's right, starting at just $24,975. Wow. A brand new SUV for under $25,000. Or take the road in a brand new Ford Explorer, now at the lowest price of the year, only $37,795. And check this out. They've got 26 Ford F-150s, America's best-selling truck, with savings close to $13,000. Yours from just $48,569. Want even more? How about 0% APR for 48 months on most models? These deals won't last. Head to Sunbury Motors Ford on North 4th Street in Sunbury. Or visit sunburymotors.com before they're gone.